Breaking, cops just revealed who else they found on campus during school shooting today. A school shooter entered the Great Mills High School in Maryland and opened fire. That's when chaos broke out and students and staff feared for their lives. Then an unexpected hero arrived and saved almost everyone in the building. 2 students were shot, but the armed school resource officer took action fast enough to protect the rest of the school from being murdered. The school resource officer shot the school shooter and neutralized the threat. The officer is a hero who saved as many people as possible, but there are still 2 students who had to be rushed to the hospital. One student is in stable condition. Another student is in critical condition and everyone hopes she pulls through and survives. The shooter has passed away from the injuries. Students, staff, and families are happy that the resource officer acted fast and protected everyone from what could have been a horrible day that ended like the Parkland school shooting in Florida. The Florida school shooter was able to murder numerous people, injure many others, and it was all because the Broward officers refused to protect and serve. Op reported more about the situation. Washington, a shooter has died and 2 other students have been shot in a shooting at Great Mills High School, in St. Mary's County, Maryland, Tuesday morning. St. Mary's County Sheriff Tim Cameron said Tuesday morning that a single shooter, a male student at the school, fired at a girl in a hallway at about 7:45 a.m., at the beginning of the school day. The girl and another student were wounded. The school resource officer, who was alerted to the shooting by students and staff, then engaged the shooter, Cameron said. The officer and the student each fired a shot, Cameron said. The shooter was pronounced dead at about 10:40 a.m., Cameron said. MedStar St. Mary's Hospital said in a statement at about 11:30 a.m. that a 14-year-old boy was in good condition following the shooting, and that they stabilized a 16-year-old girl and transferred her to Prince George's Hospital Center. Cameron said she was in critical condition. Brad Bell, who works with ABC7, reported on the shooter who was taken out by the resource officer. Brad appeared to be constantly reporting and providing updates on the dire situation that was almost a repeat of the Parkland shooting until the officer took matters into his own hands. The unfortunate part of today's hero action is that the Democrats, activists, and anti-Second Amendment protesters will continue to push their agenda, even when there is proof that an armed guard can protect students and prevent people from having the worst news delivered to parents. This shooting occurred just days after the anti-gun protesters participated in a March for Our Lives event in which thousands of students paraded around their towns in protest of gun violence. It will be interesting to see what the teen activists say about how many people were saved from the school shooter in Maryland when an armed guard fired back. A good guy with a gun just took out a bad guy with a gun and saved countless lives in a matter of seconds. There have been countless amounts of violence between the school shootings and Texas package bombings over the last month or so. The political field will be very controversial this week as debates heat up. The National Rifle Association, NRA, will possibly take heat for this shooting, even though the NRA has nothing to do with incidents that happen at schools. Expect social media to erupt into a chaotic playing field of opinions, but always make sure the facts are presented first. Share this article if you're thankful that the armed school resource officer saved students and staff today.